The biggest battle we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will share concepts, universal laws, and interviewing individuals who have done just that, who have gone through the dark times and through those moments allowed their light to shine bright. I'm your host, Dr. Vic Manzo, and I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and taking this journey with me as we discover different avenues to break through those limits, expand your reality, and evolve into the person you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Dr. Vic, and you are listening to the Mindful Experiment. This episode, as we do once a week, is me and only me. It's wisdoms, thoughts, opinions, belief systems, laws, quantum physics, you name it. Things that come up that I like to share and bring up to the table, a little bit of what's going on with what we're doing with the podcast and, just updates and so forth, but to share some knowledge and really share some wisdom. In my meditation today, there was a lot of things that came to me about trusting the process, just trust overall. And it was kind of showing me like different scenarios in my life, maybe with the podcast, my online school that I'm creating, may have been my office as being a chiropractor, but it was something that how things just always pan working out for the best as long as I just don't get in the way. And I always, you hear the podcast, what's the intro, right? The biggest battle you're ever going to have to face is between you and you, right? And it's so true because you are the one person that can bring yourself up, but at the same token, you are the one person that can bring yourself down. And trusting the process is all about getting the hell out of the way and just trusting what the universe is bringing to you. Because remember, the universe is always working for you. If you have something happening in your life that you're not happy with or you're not okay with, most of the time that could be because of what you're focusing on. And the universe it's like a genie with infinite wishes. It's always going to constantly bring whatever it is that you focus on. Every week in my private Facebook group, you can find that at Empowered Living with Dr. Vic. I do a quick video. It's about 3 to 6 minutes. That's where I try to keep it. And I talked a little bit about trusting the process and the journey of that. And so I wanted to create a podcast on it so I can go a little longer to have a bigger reach to share out to all you guys listening. To talk really more about, trusting that journey and what does that look like. You see, one of the things that humans do not like is uncertainty. When it comes to uncertainty, it's something we all shun. We don't like the unknown. There's something about it, and we just don't like it. Our minds have been trained over millennia to look for patterns, recognition, and know what's a threat and not a threat, and know how to keep you surviving. In an information era, we've made that become so huge now that we're always focusing on letting our minds guide us and think it knows best, because our minds crave certainty. And the more you give into the mind, the more you're going to be craving certainty. You won't do things that are not out of routine or something different. And so this goes on in so many different ways. I mean, left brain, that's logical, linear thinking, that's compartmentalizing. Right brain's the total opposite. It is nonlinear. Does not compartmentalize anything. It's random. It's more expansive and more powerful. There's more awe to life from that side versus the other. And so it's one of those concepts you have to really think about when it comes to trusting the process, right? Is stepping into the unknown. Because what really is your potential? Who are you really? You see, when you get this, the old cliche is when you get out of your comfort zone, that's when you grow, right? When you get out of your way, that's when you grow. When you get out of your limits, that's when you grow. When you go into the unknown, that's when you grow. Now, why is that? Well, here's the thing. You're stepping into an unknown arena. If you make 100,000 a year and never made more than that, you don't know what it's like to make 150. But you have to become the person aligned to that 150 until eventually you make it. For individuals who, when it comes to life in the aspect of understanding that everything you state, everything you feel is going to resonate back to you. The universe is listening all the time, right? Imagine a genie. This is how I just want you guys to think about this. Imagine a genie right next to you all the time, evaluating what you say, what you think, and how you feel. And based on that, it has to respond and give you what you're feeling, thinking, and what you say. Changes the ball game, doesn't it? It makes you be a little more conscious and mindful of what you're stating. And as humans, we're evolving to that state of understanding more as a consciousness the importance of the mind and how much it really attracts. It's really cool what we're entering into. And so trusting the process, it's scary because our minds, and if it feels scary to you, it's because your mind is controlling you. Okay? I always say that if humans, Tony Robbins says there's 6 essential needs that the humans need, and one of them that they don't like a lot is uncertainty. There are some people who love uncertainty. They love the thrill. They don't want to know anything. They just want to enjoy the process. There are some that are out there. But for the most part, most people don't like that. Now, I always say if you don't think that to be true, well, here's the thing. I truly believe if everyone loved uncertainty, everyone would be a business owner. I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart. Because with business owners, there is a lot of uncertainty. I've owned my own business now for about 7 to 8 years. And one of the things I've learned through that journey is that nothing is ever guaranteed. What I made last year is what I made last year. What's going to be this year? I don't know. I can have predictions. I can follow trends. I can see where my growth rate was. I can play a level with the market, see how marketing is doing, what's the market demand, what's the needs, what's the pain. I can look at all those things that businesses teach us, business school taught me. But it's one of those things, though, but even with all that studying, I have no idea what's going to happen. There's so many different factors up in the air. And it's always fun every year going to see my accountant. This is accountant time. I just went to go see her last week. It's one of those things where I look and I'm like, oh, that's what we made this year? Okay, cool. Not bad. All right, how much do I pay in taxes? All right, cool, good. Let's move forward. And it's one of those things I don't know, but it's that concept of uncertainty that some people rather have the certainty. They rather lower their potential, and there's nothing wrong with this. So please, if you're one of those people, please don't take this the wrong way. It's where your comfort levels is. It's what you desire, right? Again, this is your life. So I never want to come from a place of judgment. The whole purpose why I'm bringing this up is to have an understanding of certainty versus uncertainty, and I'm using entrepreneurship as uncertainty, a way that if everyone loved uncertainty, this is what they would do. Because again, entrepreneurship is always, for the most part, is always based on uncertainty. You never know. Even when it comes to, depending on what field you're in, I know some people have contracts that they have, like, let's say you seal the deal, you have a construction contract for the next 4 years, you're guaranteed this is what you're going to make, and this is what you're going to be paying. You're building this massive skyscraper, so you're locked in at that price. So then you know what you're making. I consider athletes to a certain degree being entrepreneurs in a certain degree, because you have to, as an entrepreneur, you got to work on your craft, you got to know your markets, you got to work on yourself, you got to try to grow and expand and get better, right? As an athlete, what do? They got to know their markets, they got to know how they expand, they have to grow, they have to study other teams, they got to study their competition, and they have to continue to be the best version of them that they can. The more they can create value in themselves, the more they'll be paid. The more you can create value in your marketplace, the more you will be paid. So even though it may not be fully like an entrepreneur, the principles are all aligned. And so someone like Manny Machado, who just signed a deal today, if you're a baseball fan, $300 million for 10 years. So he's going to make $30 million a year guaranteed for the next 10 years. That's with rain, show, sign, injury, doesn't matter. He's making it. And so there may be contingencies in the contract, which I haven't looked at, but I don't have time to look at that. But it's one of those things where that's what he's guaranteed. So if you're in that kind of arena, that's certainty. But the uncertainty side of things is a little different. And, the thing is, when it comes to your life, living your life, I will tell you right now that no matter what happens, there are two things that tell you why you didn't get there. Two things in my whole experience. I'm open to many more, but these are the two that I've seen. One, you didn't put enough effort. Number two, divine timing. Now, you control both of those because if effort wasn't enough, you got to put more effort in. If you put all the effort you can, but it wasn't divine timing yet, keep putting more effort. Eventually, you'll have that time to get there. And so, it's the same concept with your life. The universe knows when everything is going to be designed the way it should be. When it comes for myself trusting the process, there's a lot of things in my life that I have to remind myself. This is one of the hardest I had to do growing up, is trusting the process. You know, for me, I became very mind heavy, and I let my mind guide me in. I learned things, and I was trying to outsmart people. I never wanted to feel stupid, so I learned way more than I ever needed to learn. I knew stuff that I didn't even need to know, but I did. So I wasted my energy and time into that. But there came a point in my life where I started to trust the journey a little bit. And I'm still practicing this. I'm not no master at it, but I'm getting way better, and I can see it because the universe gives me winks. The universe lets me know when I'm aligned and when I'm in flow. You know, I've been doing this podcast now for almost a year. A lot of times when I'm looking at like people to interview, it's always interesting to see that when it gets down to like, oh man, I got to start getting some more interviews in. All of a sudden I'm like, wait, I don't have to worry about that. The people who I'm looking for, they'll come. I'm just going to continue doing my work. And it's funny how that always works. And it's so much. It's just interesting. When you trust that process, you get out of your way and let the universe guide you because it always knows better. You'll have a more colorful and fruitful life. I can't tell you because I controlled my business. I tried controlling it for 5 to 6 years. I did. Outcomes and all that. And then about 2 years ago, it's been almost 3 now, where I kind of just let go. And I didn't worry about his metrics and all these other things that you have to do as a business owner. I started to just focus on what it was my passion and vision and put my energy there. And I kept telling myself that eventually I'll get to where I will desire to be, to expand my vision to even further, to help shift healthcare in my community and help the kiddos that we serve, the pregnant women that we serve, the soon-to-be kids that we serve, and families overall thrive to a higher level, thrive in a way that they were designed to be. And so it took me 2 to 3 years to really start to trust that process. I had to let go of a lot. It was scary. You know, if those who have raised kids or are raising kids and, you know, you're kind of like, I want to raise my kid, I want to have him be a certain way and so much more. And then you're like, I don't know if this is all going to work. You know, it's kind of that feeling. I had to let my right now, I don't have kids, but my kid is my business. And so it's one of those things where I had to make sure I'm cultivating. I had to make sure that it was going to, you know, just trust and know that what did I have to do? Show up every day, give loving service, love on my patients, put my energy in everything I do, and make sure I'm just being 100% present. That's it. That's all I did. That was my effort. And I had to make sure I do that every single day. And whatever I said I was going to commit to, that's what I did. Nothing more, nothing less. And what was beautiful is things transformed. The practice I always wanted happened. The people I wanted to serve happened. It's just amazing how things turned around because at one point I had to make a shift and change. And I had to just get out of my freaking way and trust the process. And so no matter where you are in business, if you have kids, if it's financial, if whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, you know, like for example, at my age right now that I'm at, I'm doing tons of investing. And the reason why is because I'm trying to protect my future. You know, eventually I'm going to have kids. I want to protect their future. I want to be able to financially support my family in the long term so that after our kids are out of the house, my wife and I can go and, you know, we can do, not that we can't do it when we have kids, we will too, but like travel the world and live the life we want. And if we want to work, we will. If we don't have to. You know, we'll have the income that we desire and make it happen. But with that comes a lot of trust, but also comes a lot of uncertainty because I know what I have to put in every single time. That's my effort. And I know as long as I do the work on that, there will come a time everything's going to work out. And I'll get to where I have to. Will it be in 10 years? Will it be in 20? Will it be in 50? I don't know. But the thing is, I just know I have to continue to do the work and keep investing. And I know eventually as I continue to invest, over the long term, I'll eventually get there. And so that's the kind of concept when it comes to trusting the process. Just trust with yourself and know that you are powerful beyond measure and that the universe is always listening to everything you say. So if there's something happening in your life, your focus may not be where you desire. Remember, there's 2 reasons why things don't happen for you. Number 1 is effort. Number 2 is divine timing, right? If you're putting the effort for a year and you're like, I'm not even close to my vision, stop focusing on that and keep focusing on the effort, right? Divine timing may be playing a role. Keep doing the work. Eventually things work out. Everything in life has a gestational period. The law of gender states that. Anything. A baby cannot be made in 4 months. A human cannot be made in 4 months. It takes 9 to 10 months, give or take, right? A tree cannot be planted and next day be there. The bamboo, right? The bamboo tree. I love the bamboo story. If you never heard how a bamboo tree is grown, it's really, really impressive. I heard the story years ago by Les Brown, and I started researching, and it is true. And I use this now in everything when it comes to health, when it comes to growth and success in business, when I do my coaching, all this. I teach the principles and foundations of simplicity and focusing on your foundations because the foundations is what creates massive success. Here's how. The story of the bamboo tree and how it's raised, how to grow a bamboo tree, is you have to put the seed in the ground, right? And I talk about divine timing and I talk about effort. So you put the seed in the ground. Every single day, you have to pour water on this seed every single day, okay? And for 4 years and about 42 to 46 weeks, it might be 12 weeks. So if let's go 40 weeks, 40 weeks to 46 weeks. There's nothing. Not even a sprout out of the ground. Your job is to continue to put the effort in. Every day, go back and water the seed. Right? What ends up happening is that 6 to 12 week mark, I apologize, I don't remember off the top of my head, is that the bamboo will shoot up 20 feet, give or take, in that short term of a process. So when you think about it, what happens is for those 4 years and some odd weeks, you had to do the effort. What that seed did was creating the massive root system it needed and developed all the foundation that it needed to be ready to handle that massive growth. And then when it happens, boom, massive growth happens like crazy. This happens in every arena of our life. No matter what you do, you have to create a solid foundation. The principles of construction, of building a skyscraper, are so true. As I always say, the bigger the vision, the more foundation. The higher the building, the bigger the foundation has to be. The farther down the foundation has to go. It's the principles of life, principles of the universe, if you want to say that. You have to trust and do the work. Don't get caught up on time. That's going to stress you out. Get focused and appreciate the journey, the beauty of what the journey has to offer you. And know that you are always in control. The universe is guiding you along the way, but you're the one that's telling the universe what you want. Some people will argue and say, hey, you don't have all control. Okay, but I'm the one that's steering the ship. The universe provides everything else for me. It's the one that puts everyone together, the circumstances, the situations, the people, the connections, the network, the opportunities, all that. Because guess what? If you ever listen to any successful people, they will always tell you that there came a point in time in their life. You'll hear the clues of how the universe lined it up. That it just worked out perfectly for them at that moment to let them shine. Like it all aligned beautifully. Just like there was no mistake for me to be a chiropractor. Everything had to align the way it was. And when I overlook my life, I can see all the clues when I was a little kid at 8, 9 years old, going to a chiropractor. And I kind of went away from it for almost 10 years, and I came back, and then all of a sudden, it was like the little cues that kept coming. And then I was in chiropractic school, the little cues that kept showing me I was in the right place. Then the little cues that kept showing me this is where I need to be. Then the little cue, I always had that guidance along the way because I was mindful of it. And I was always looking for it. Because again, it's okay to let your left brain know, or your ego, say, hey, look here, see this pattern? This is what that means. Oh, okay, cool. Then the left brain will say, all right, right brain or heart center, you got this. I'll let you guide the way. Just keep feeding me to make sure that I don't get anxiety, because when shit hits the fan, left brain wants to take over. And you always got to let it know, this to intrigue it a little bit, to say, hey, it's all good, we got this. So that's the beauty of trusting the process. Because it's less stressful. You have more joy. You enjoy the beauty of the journey instead of the end destination of where you want, the destination where you want to go. So when it comes to your life, just remember, if I can just share anything out of trusting the process, is this: 2 things. Number 1 is that effort is what's going to determine your success. Number 2, divine timing of when that success comes is determined by the universe, because the universe knows better than every single human mind ever put together in the entire ever existed here on Earth. So the universe is all-knowing in a sense, and it knows what's best for you and what's best for others at the same token. And that's what it'll provide to you when it's ready. So focus on your vision, focus on the passion of what it is you desire, what makes you happy every single day, that makes you excited to wake up, and put your energy there and enjoy the journey. And always don't forget the clarity of the vision of what you want to get to. Never forget that. Keep it at the end in the back of your mind, but you want to keep it clear so that you know where you're going and know that everything you do aligns with that process. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Any questions, please send them over to Dr. Vic at empoweryourreality.com. Come check me out on Facebook at Dr. Vic Manzo, Instagram, Dr. Vic Manzo. Check out my private Facebook page. It's a private group, and it's Empowered Living with Dr. Vic. Come on, I share some cool inspirational concepts, once-a-week videos, and so much more. Love to have you on there. Any questions you guys have, please let me know. If you like the video, if you like the podcast, you've been listening, please share a review. Throw what you think is what you think it's worth. These reviews are really important, and I take a look at them, and if you leave a comment, I will read it to see how we can expand and grow, and always learning to be better. I want to thank you guys for listening, and until next time, keep rocking and rolling.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you on the journey to rediscover who you really are. To connect with us on Facebook, please visit www.facebook.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. Check us out on Twitter. The handle is Dr. Vic21. Follow us on Instagram, www.instagram.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. If you were inspired by the podcast, pay it forward by sharing it with someone who you know can benefit from it. Thank you again for listening to the Mindful Experiment podcast, sharing paths to help you rediscover your infinite potential.